Hello, and a very warm welcome to the British Accent Podcast. Are you learning English and want to sound more natural, more confident, and a bit more British? You've come to the perfect place, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this exciting journey. Each week, we'll dive into fascinating topics, from everyday life and culture in the UK to tips on pronunciation, vocabulary, and common expressions. We'll break down everything in a clear, easy to understand way so you can improve your listening skills and start speaking with clarity. It's not just about learning words, it's about understanding the rhythm and music of the language. So, if you're ready to take your English to the next level, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I can't wait to get started with you. Cheers! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Alexa, and today we have a fun and very practical topic. We're talking about how to train your mouth to talk in English.
Hi everyone, this is Nick. This topic is important because many English learners think speaking is only about vocabulary and grammar. But speaking is also physical. You have to train your mouth, your tongue, and even your face muscles to move in a new way.
Exactly. English has sounds that many learners don't have in their first language. So today, we're going to explore what it really means to train your mouth so you can speak more clearly and naturally.
Let's start with something simple. When people try to speak English fast, they often get stuck because their mouth isn't used to the movement. It's like trying to run without stretching. Your mouth needs warm-up exercises just like your body.
One easy warm-up is practicing common sound patterns. For example, the TH sound. Many learners avoid it because it feels strange to push the tongue between the teeth. But the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes.
Right, and you don't need a long exercise. Just repeat a few simple words. Think, thank, through. Focus on how your tongue touches your teeth. Do it slowly first, then a little faster.
Another useful exercise is reading sentences out loud. When you read out loud, you train your mouth to move in full English rhythm. Many learners read silently, but that doesn't train speaking muscles. Reading aloud builds confidence and improves pronunciation over time.
And it helps you speak more smoothly, because your mouth learns how to move from one sound to the next. For example, the sentence "she sells seashells" forces your mouth to work harder. And that's good practice.
Yes, tongue twisters are great. They make your mouth flexible. You don't have to be perfect. The goal is just to move your mouth more and get used to English sounds.
There's another trick that works well: shadowing. That means listening to a native speaker and speaking at the same time. You copy the rhythm, the pace, and the mouth movement. It feels challenging at first, but it pushes your speaking ability very quickly.
Shadowing also helps your brain connect sound and movement. When you copy a sentence, you're not only listening, you're physically training your mouth to copy that exact shape.
Another thing learners forget is mouth opening. English needs a wide mouth for many vowel sounds. If you speak with a small mouth, the words come out unclear. For example, try saying apple with a small mouth. It sounds flat. But if you open your mouth wider, the sound becomes clearer.
That's so true. English vowels need space. When learners open their mouths more, their pronunciation improves immediately. So a good exercise is standing in front of a mirror and watching how wide your mouth opens when you say a, e, I, o, u.
And don't worry about feeling silly. These exercises look funny, but they make speaking much easier later.
Another helpful idea is practicing short daily speaking routines. Even 5 minutes can make a difference. Say simple sentences like "today I feel" or "today I want to." The goal is to move your mouth every single day.
Yes, because speaking is a habit. The more you move your mouth in English, the more natural it becomes. It's like training for a sport. You don't need perfection. You just need consistency.
And remember, it's normal if your mouth feels slow at first. That's part of the process. With more practice, your mouth will start to move automatically in an English pattern.
Exactly. And once your mouth gets used to English sounds, speaking becomes smoother, faster, and much more confident. Another thing that helps is practicing connected speech. English words often link together when we speak. For example, wanter becomes wanna, and going to becomes gonna. When you train your mouth to connect words smoothly, your speaking becomes more natural.
Yes, connected speech makes English sound fast, but really it's just the words joining together. A good exercise is repeating short phrases like I want to go, we have to leave, or she needs to study. Say them slowly first, then link the words.
You can also practice stress. In English, we don't stress every word equally. Some words are strong, and some are weak. For example, in the sentence, I didn't say you stole it. The meaning changes depending on which word you stress. Training your mouth to stress the right word helps your speech sound more natural.
Stress really changes the feeling of a sentence. English learners often speak with flat intonation because they focus only on grammar. But when you practice stress out loud, your mouth learns the rhythm of English. One exercise is to choose one word to stress in a sentence and try different versions.
Another helpful exercise is recording yourself. When you record your voice and listen again, you notice which sounds are unclear. Then you can practice just those parts. This trains your mouth to fix the exact areas where you struggle.
Yes, and many learners are surprised when they hear their own voice. They realize they're not opening their mouth enough or they're speaking too softly. Recording helps you see your progress too, because you can compare older recordings with new ones.
There's also a simple daily routine learners can try. 1 minute of mouth warm-up, 2 minutes of reading aloud, 1 minute of shadowing, and 1 minute of free speaking. In just 5 minutes, your mouth gets full English practice.
That routine is great because it targets everything: sound, movement, rhythm, and confidence. Even if you have a busy day, you can still do it. And if you practice consistently, your mouth becomes more flexible over time.
One more thing to remember is that English has many soft endings, such as T, D, and K. When you practice finishing these sounds cleanly, your speech becomes clearer. For example, the ending sound in sit or cold, many learners drop the ending, but keeping it sharp helps people understand you better.
Yes, ending sounds are important. When you practice them slowly, your mouth learns the right movement. Try saying cat, cut, cap, and pack, focusing on the ending. You can even use a mirror to check your mouth shape.
And don't forget about tongue placement. English uses the tip of the tongue a lot. For example, the T and D sounds are made by touching the tongue to the top of your mouth, not your teeth. Learning the correct placement helps you sound clearer.
Tongue placement is something many learners don't think about. But once you know where the tongue should go, speaking feels easier. A simple exercise is to practice the T sound in words like time, take, and tomorrow, focusing on where your tongue hits.
Another useful thing is practicing common sentence starters. These phrases help your mouth get comfortable with English. Examples are I think that, I feel that, and in my opinion. When you repeat these many times, your mouth becomes faster.
Those starters also help learners begin conversations more easily. When your mouth knows the pattern, you don't hesitate. You can start speaking right away, and that builds confidence.
Another technique learners can try is slow speaking practice. Many people try to speak fast because they think it sounds more natural, but it often creates mistakes. When you speak slowly, your mouth has time to shape each sound correctly.
Yes, slow speaking is actually powerful. When you slow down, you can control your mouth movements and make your pronunciation clearer. Then, with time, your natural speed increases without losing clarity.
A useful exercise is reading one paragraph very slowly and focusing on every sound. You can even pause between words to make sure your mouth is doing the right movement.
And after you do the slow version, you can read the same paragraph again at your normal speed. This helps your mouth remember the correct movements and slowly build fluency.
Another good idea is practicing English with exaggerated mouth movements. It might feel strange, but it helps your muscles learn the positions faster. Once your mouth gets used to it, you can go back to normal speaking, and your pronunciation will sound more natural.
This method works especially well with long vowel sounds like a, o, and I. When you exaggerate them, your mouth stretches more, and you learn the true shape of the sound. Many learners skip this, but it helps a lot.
Learners can also practice speaking with rhythm. English has a natural beat, and your mouth follows that beat. Try speaking simple sentences like I woke up early today, or I am ready to start my day, keeping a smooth rhythm.
Rhythm makes your speech sound more connected. When you practice it, your mouth moves more naturally from one word to the next. It also helps you avoid stopping in the middle of a sentence.
You can also train your mouth by practicing with short stories. Even a simple story like my day helps a lot. When you repeat the story several times, you teach your mouth to move smoothly through familiar sentences.
Short stories are useful because they mix many different sounds. Your mouth has to switch between them quickly, and that gives you real speaking practice. Even 2 or 3 lines can make a difference.
Another thing learners can do is practice speaking while walking. When your body moves, your speaking becomes more relaxed. This helps your mouth move more freely as well.
Walking practice also reduces pressure. When learners sit still, they often overthink every sentence. But when you walk, you speak more naturally and your mouth follows your natural rhythm.
A simple exercise is to walk around your room and describe what you see. For example, this is my desk, these are my books, or I am walking past the window. Your mouth stays active the whole time.
Yes, and daily life vocabulary is great for mouth training. You don't need complicated sentences. Even everyday phrases like I'm cooking dinner or I'm cleaning my room help your mouth practice English movement.
Another effective technique is using minimal pairs. These are word pairs with similar sounds, like ship and sheep, or bit and beat. Practicing them trains your mouth to hear and make small sound differences.
Minimal pairs are perfect for learners who find vowel sounds difficult. When you practice pairs, your mouth learns to move just a little differently, and that small change improves your pronunciation a lot.
Another useful method is practicing with real-life dialogues. Even short, simple conversations help your mouth move in natural patterns. For example, a small dialogue like ordering food or asking for directions gives you practical speaking practice.
Real-life dialogues are helpful because they repeat common sentence structures. When your mouth gets used to these structures, you can speak faster without thinking too much. It's like building muscle memory for your mouth.
A good exercise is to choose one short dialogue and repeat it 3 or 4 times. Each time you repeat it, your mouth becomes more comfortable with the sounds.
Learners can also try practicing intonation. English uses rising and falling tones. When your mouth follows these tones, your speech sounds more natural. For example, in a question like "Are you ready?" your voice rises at the end.
Intonation helps listeners understand your intention. Without it, your speech can sound flat. Practicing simple questions and statements is a good start. You can say, "Where are you going?" or "I'm going home now," and pay attention to the tone.
Another thing that helps is practicing with short pauses. Some learners speak too quickly and forget to pause, which makes their mouth tired. Short pauses give your mouth time to prepare for the next word.
Pausing is part of clear speaking. When you pause correctly, your mouth can finish each sound properly. Even a small pause after a phrase can make your speech easier to understand.
A useful technique is speaking in chunks. Instead of saying a long sentence all at once, break it into parts. For example, today I went to the market. I bought some fruit. Then I walked home. This helps your mouth stay in control.
Yes, chunking reduces pressure. When your mouth handles shorter pieces, your pronunciation stays stable. Over time, the chunks naturally join together, and your speech becomes smoother.
Another practical method is practicing with mirrors. When you look at your mouth while speaking, you can check if you are opening it enough or shaping the sounds correctly.
Mirror practice works especially well for tricky sounds. For example, you can check your mouth shape when you say orange, water, or teacher. Watching your mouth helps you correct small mistakes.
Learners can also stretch their face muscles before speaking. Simple movements, like opening your mouth wide, moving your lips forward, or pushing your tongue out, help your mouth warm up.
Warm-up makes a difference. When your mouth is relaxed, speaking becomes smoother. It prepares your tongue and lips to make English sounds more easily.
Another idea is practicing English with background music. Not singing, but speaking in rhythm with the beat. This trains your mouth to follow a steady pace.
That's helpful because rhythm keeps your mouth moving. Even reading a short sentence in time with music can make your speech feel more natural. Another useful technique is practicing with short daily goals. For example, choose one sound to focus on for the day. It could be the R sound, the TH sound, or long vowel sounds. When you work on just one sound, your mouth learns it more deeply.
Daily sound goals make practice simple. You don't feel overwhelmed because you focus on only one thing. For example, if today's sound is R, you can practice words like river, road, and really, paying attention to how your tongue moves.
Learners can also train their mouths by repeating short phrases many times. These are called drills. For example, repeating "I want a cup of tea" 10 times helps your mouth get used to the flow of the sentence.
Drills are very effective because repetition builds strong habits. When you repeat a phrase often, your mouth starts to move automatically. You don't need to think about each word anymore.
Another technique is practicing English with emotion. You can say the same sentence in different tones, such as happy, surprised, or calm. This trains your mouth to move in flexible ways.
Emotion practice makes your speech more expressive. It also helps you control your mouth muscles better. You can try saying, "I can do this," with a confident tone, or "That sounds interesting," with a curious tone.
Learners can also practice speaking while standing. When you stand up straight, your breath flows better, and your mouth has more energy to move. Good posture supports clear pronunciation.
Standing practice is especially useful for longer sentences. When your breath is stronger, your mouth can shape the sounds more clearly. You can try reading one paragraph standing and one paragraph sitting to feel the difference.
Another helpful idea is practicing mouth relaxation after speaking. Some learners tense their mouth when they speak English. Gentle stretching helps release that tension and prepares your mouth for the next practice session.
Relaxation is important because tension can block your pronunciation. A simple method is to open your mouth wide, relax your jaw, and slowly close it again. This keeps your mouth flexible.
Learners can also use real objects to practice. For example, holding a pencil gently between your teeth and then speaking slowly. This exercise strengthens your mouth muscles. After you remove the pencil, your speech often becomes clearer.
That exercise works well with short sentences. You can say, "This is my book," or "I am learning English," focusing on moving your lips more actively. When you remove the pencil, your mouth feels more open.
Another method is to practice speaking with clear endings. Many learners stop before the final sound. When you finish each word fully, your pronunciation becomes sharper. Words like cold, hand, or think should have clean endings.
Clear endings also help your mouth build discipline. You become more aware of every sound in the word. It may feel slow at first, but it improves your overall speaking accuracy.
Another thing learners can try is speaking with sentence frames. These are simple patterns you can reuse in many situations. For example, I would like to, I plan to, or I need to. When you practice these frames often, your mouth becomes faster at starting sentences.
Sentence frames are helpful because they remove hesitation. When your mouth already knows the beginning of a sentence, the rest of the sentence flows more easily. You can focus on the message instead of the mouth movements.
Learners can also train their mouths by practicing short questions. Questions often have tricky sounds and intonation changes, so repeating them helps a lot. For example, where are you from, or how is your day?
Short questions are perfect for building confidence. They are simple, but they use important sounds. When you repeat them, your mouth becomes more comfortable with English intonation and rhythm.
Another technique is reading children's books aloud. They use simple sentences, clear vocabulary, and strong rhythm. This helps your mouth get used to natural English patterns.
Children's books are great for practice because the sentences are short and easy to follow. When you read them out loud, your mouth can focus on pronunciation instead of difficult words.
Learners can also practice speaking while looking at pictures. For example, choose a picture of a room or a street and describe everything you see. This keeps your mouth moving and builds fluency.
Picture description helps because it does not require translation. You just say what you see. Your mouth stays active, and you practice forming sentences quickly and naturally.
Another helpful idea is practicing shadowing with short, clear recordings. If learners choose voices that are slow and easy to understand, their mouths can copy the rhythm more effectively.
Shadowing is powerful because it trains your mouth to match native patterns. Even 1 minute of shadowing each day can improve your speaking flow. The key is choosing short clips so your mouth does not get overwhelmed.
Learners can also practice with word groups. For example, grouping similar sounds like play, plane, please, and plate. Practicing words that share sounds helps your mouth master that sound faster.
Word groups strengthen your sound control. When you repeat similar words, your mouth learns the small differences between them. This improves both pronunciation and listening skills.
Another method is repeating tongue twisters slowly. You don't need to say them fast. Even slow practice helps your mouth build strength and coordination. Sentences like she sells seashells are very useful.
Tongue twisters help your mouth move more actively. When you practice them carefully, you learn how to control difficult sound combinations. After a few days, you will notice that your mouth feels more flexible.
Learners can also practice speaking while timing themselves. For example, set a 1-minute timer and talk about your day. This trains your mouth to keep moving without stopping too much.
Timed speaking is great for fluency. You don't worry about mistakes. You just let your mouth work. Even if you repeat ideas, your mouth stays active, which is the main goal.
Another useful method is practicing with real objects around your home. Pick up an item, hold it in your hand, and describe it in English. For example, this is a blue cup. It is light. I use it every morning. This keeps your mouth active while using simple words.
Object description is very helpful because you always have something to talk about. Your mouth does not stop, and you don't need to think too hard about the topic. You just focus on clear pronunciation and steady rhythm.
Learners can also train their mouths by recording themselves. When you speak and listen to your own voice, you can hear which sounds need more work. Maybe the ending sounds are missing, or the vowels are too short.
Recording helps because you become more aware of your speech. When you listen again, you notice small details. You can then practice the same sentence until your mouth makes the sound correctly.
Another exercise is speaking with a metronome. A metronome is a tool that keeps a steady beat. If you speak in time with the beat, your mouth gets used to a smooth and regular rhythm.
A metronome is great for learners who speak too fast or too slow. With a steady beat, your mouth learns to follow a clear pace. You can start with short sentences and then move to longer ones.
Learners can also practice reading menus, signs, or labels out loud. These texts use everyday vocabulary, and reading them trains your mouth to sound natural in real-life situations.
This is also good because the sentences are short and useful. When your mouth practices practical language, you become more confident in daily conversations. Even reading a short label helps.
Another method is to practice speaking directly after listening. For example, listen to one sentence from a podcast, pause, and repeat it exactly. This trains your mouth to copy natural pronunciation.
This technique improves both listening and speaking. When you repeat right after listening, your mouth learns to move like a native speaker. You don't need to repeat the whole paragraph, just one sentence at a time.
Learners can also try switching from their native language to English slowly. For example, think of a sentence in your language, then say it in English. This trains your mouth to change speaking habits.
This method helps you reduce translation when speaking. Your mouth becomes more used to English structures. With time, you start speaking directly in English without thinking too much.
Another idea is to practice speaking while doing simple chores. Washing dishes, folding clothes, or cleaning your room gives you space to speak without pressure. Your mouth stays active, and you can talk about what you are doing.
Chore speaking works because it feels natural. You don't focus on perfect grammar. You just describe your actions. Your mouth moves more freely, and your confidence grows with each minute.
Another helpful technique is practicing with simple daily routines. For example, talk through your morning routine step by step. You can say, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I make breakfast. This keeps your mouth active with easy sentences.
Daily routines are great for speaking practice because the actions are familiar. Your mouth can focus on pronunciation instead of difficult ideas. When you repeat your routine a few times, the sentences become smoother and faster.
Learners can also train their mouths by telling short stories from their past. They don't have to be complicated. Even a small memory like my first day at school can help your mouth practice longer sentences and past tense forms.
Short memories are useful because they let you practice narrative language. Your mouth learns to move through different types of sentences. You can describe what happened, who was there, and how you felt.
Another important exercise is practicing stress in words. English is a stress-based language, so your mouth needs to push certain syllables more strongly. For example, in the word important, the stress is on poor.
Word stress is essential for clear speech. If you stress the wrong part of the word, listeners may misunderstand you. Practicing stress helps your mouth move with the natural beat of English words.
Learners can also try reading in steps. First, read a sentence silently, then read it slowly out loud. Finally, read it again with natural speed. This step-by-step method trains your mouth gently.
Reading in steps helps your mouth adjust. You get time to understand the sentence, then time to shape each sound, and then time to speak more fluently. This process builds strong pronunciation habits.
Another technique is describing your feelings out loud. Simple sentences like I feel excited, I feel tired, or I feel calm help your mouth use emotional vocabulary in natural ways.
Emotion sentences also help you connect language with daily life. When you say how you feel, your mouth practices useful expressions. You can repeat them during the day to keep your speaking active.
Learners can also practice by explaining how something works. For example, explain how to make a cup of tea or how to open an app on your phone. These explanations help your mouth form longer, logical sentences.
Explaining steps builds both fluency and clarity. When your mouth practices instructions, you learn to speak in an organized way. This also helps you in real conversations when someone asks for help or directions.
Another helpful idea is to practice with word substitutions. For example, take a simple sentence like "I like this book" and change one word each time. You can say, "I like this movie," "I like this music," "I like this room." This keeps your mouth active while repeating a familiar pattern.
Word substitution is powerful because it trains automatic speaking. Your mouth follows the same structure, so it can focus on the new word. With daily practice, your speaking speed improves naturally.
Another useful exercise is practicing comparisons. Your mouth can move through different structures when you compare two things. For example, "This bag is bigger than my old one," or "This room is quieter than the kitchen."
Comparisons help because they use common patterns. When your mouth gets used to saying bigger than, smaller than, or faster than, your speaking becomes more natural and automatic.
Learners can also train their mouths by practicing simple opinions. Sentences like "I think this is good," "I don't like this part," or "I prefer this option" help your mouth practice everyday expressions.
Opinion sentences are helpful because we use them often in conversation. When your mouth knows these expressions well, you can share your ideas more confidently.
Another technique is to describe locations. Choose a place you know well, like your bedroom, a cafe, or your school. Then explain where things are. For example, "The table is near the window," or "The lamp is next to the chair."
Location sentences help your mouth learn prepositions. These words are small but very important in English. Practicing them helps your speech become clearer and more accurate.
Learners can also practice mouth movements by reading song lyrics aloud, but without singing. When you speak the lyrics like normal sentences, your mouth learns rhythm and expression in a fun way.
Lyrics are useful because they have natural flow and emotion. Your mouth can follow the beat of the words, and this helps your speaking rhythm improve.
Another helpful method is describing the weather each day. For example, "It is sunny today," or "The air is warm," or "The sky looks cloudy." This gives your mouth short, simple practice every morning.
Daily weather sentences are easy to repeat. You can say them while looking out the window. This helps your mouth stay active, even if you only have a few minutes to practice.
Learners can also speak through simple choices. For example, "I would choose tea over coffee," or "I prefer walking to driving." This trains your mouth to use patterns for decisions.
Choice sentences help you express yourself more naturally. Your mouth learns to connect ideas smoothly and build clear, simple arguments.
Another technique is repeating one paragraph many times over several days. Even if the text is short, your mouth improves each time you repeat it. By the end of the week, your pronunciation becomes much smoother.
Repeating the same paragraph is very effective. At first, your mouth works slowly, but after many repetitions, the sounds feel easy. This builds strong fluency and confidence.
And when you train your mouth to talk in English, one thing you start noticing is how your muscles slowly adapt to new patterns. At first, it feels a bit strange, like your tongue is doing extra work, but the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Your mouth begins to remember the movements, and you don't have to think so hard about each sound.
Yes, and this is something many learners don't realize. They think English is only about grammar or vocabulary, but actually, a lot of fluency comes from physical training. Your lips, your jaw, your tongue, they all need practice. English has sounds that don't exist in many languages, so there is real muscle training involved.
For example, the TH sound. If your first language doesn't have it, your mouth is not used to pushing the tongue between the teeth. So at first, it feels slow, but with repetition, your muscles learn the movement, and soon it becomes automatic. It's almost like learning to ride a bike.
Exactly. And the same goes for connected speech. When we speak quickly, words link together, and the mouth needs to move smoothly without stopping. Practicing short sentences over and over helps build that smooth flow. Even saying something simple like "What are you doing today?" again and again can help train your rhythm.
Another great exercise is shadowing. You listen to a native speaker and repeat at the same time. It forces your mouth to copy the rhythm, the speed, and the shape of each sound. It's one of the closest things to real-time mouth training.
Shadowing also helps with confidence. When learners copy real English audio, they start hearing themselves speaking more clearly. And when they hear improvement, they become more motivated. It turns into a cycle. The more you speak, the more comfortable your mouth becomes, and the easier English feels.
Yes, and even reading aloud is powerful. Many learners think reading aloud is only for beginners, but actually, it's effective for all levels. When you read aloud, your mouth gets time to practice without the pressure of thinking too fast.
I agree. And here's a simple technique. Choose a short paragraph, read it slowly, then a little faster, then faster again, always keeping it clear. You're basically training both clarity and speed at the same time.
Another common challenge is vowel sounds. English has many vowel sounds that are very close to each other, like ship and sheep, or full and full. Training your mouth to make these small differences is important because it changes meaning.
True. One exercise I always tell learners is to repeat pairs of similar words. For example, bit, beat, or pull, pull. Say them back and forth until your mouth understands the difference. Your muscles remember the shape of each sound.
And it's also helpful to exaggerate the sounds at first. Stretch the vowel longer or open your mouth wider. Exaggeration helps your muscles find the correct position. Later, you can make the sound more natural.
Yes, exaggeration in practice makes real speaking easier. It's like training with heavier weights so that normal speaking feels light.
Another thing is mouth relaxation. Many learners tense their jaw when speaking English because they're nervous. But tension actually makes pronunciation harder. Relaxing your jaw helps your mouth move more freely.
That is such an important point. Sometimes, just taking a breath, relaxing your face and speaking more gently makes your pronunciation clearer. When the mouth is too tight, the sounds get blocked.
And breath control too. English uses a lot of air when speaking. If you run out of breath, your words get softer and unclear. Practicing slow, long sentences helps you control airflow better.
Right. And one more tip. Record yourself. Many learners avoid it because they feel shy, but it's extremely helpful. When you listen back, you can hear which sounds your mouth needs to improve. Then you can focus your training.
And when you record yourself regularly, you also notice progress that you may not feel day to day. Sometimes improvement is slow, but when you compare recordings from a week or a month apart, you can really hear the difference. It gives you proof that your mouth training is working.
Yes, and it helps you understand your habits. For example, you might realize that you always drop the ending sounds, or you speak too softly, or you rush certain words. Once you know your habits, you can correct them much more effectively. Awareness is a big part of mouth training.
Another helpful technique is practicing in front of a mirror. When you watch your mouth move, you can see whether you're shaping the sounds correctly. For example, the V sound needs the top teeth to touch the lower lip. If you look in the mirror, you can check if your mouth is actually doing that.
And the R sound in British English also needs practice. It's softer than the American R, and sometimes the tongue doesn't curl as much. When learners practice in front of a mirror, they can see the small movements that make the pronunciation more natural.
Some people feel silly doing it, but it really works. Even actors train in front of mirrors to improve how their face and mouth move when speaking.
Speaking of actors, many of their warm-up exercises are perfect for English learners. Things like tongue twisters help improve control and clarity. For example, red lorry, yellow lorry, or she sells seashells by the seashore. They force your mouth to move quickly and accurately.
And if a learner can say a tongue twister slowly and clearly, that's already a good sign. Speed comes later. The important part is shaping the sounds correctly at the beginning.
That's true. And I also recommend doing small daily practices. Even 5 minutes of mouth training can make a difference if you do it consistently. You don't need to practice for an hour. You just need to practice regularly.
Consistency is everything. If you train your mouth a little bit every day, the progress becomes steady. Your mouth gets stronger, more flexible, and more confident with English sounds.
And don't forget that using English in real situations is also a form of mouth training. Talking to friends, joining English groups, or even speaking to yourself while doing daily tasks helps your mouth stay active.
Yes, and speaking to yourself is completely normal. Many fluent speakers became confident by talking to themselves when no one else was available. It keeps the mouth moving and builds fluency through repetition.
And it also trains your thinking speed. When you talk to yourself, you try to keep words flowing, and that makes your mouth and brain work together more naturally.
Another great idea is to choose a topic and speak about it for 1 minute. You can set a timer and try to talk without stopping. It forces your mouth to keep moving and helps you practice forming sentences quickly.
Yes, and the topic doesn't need to be difficult. It can be about food you like, your routine, or something you did yesterday. The goal isn't perfection, it's movement and flow. The more your mouth moves, the easier English becomes.
And when learners practice this kind of 1 minute speaking regularly, they start noticing that certain words come out faster and smoother. Their mouth becomes familiar with common patterns like I usually, I think, I want to, or I need to. These little patterns make speaking much easier because the mouth doesn't have to build every sentence from zero.
Yes, those repeated patterns are extremely powerful. Once your mouth learns them, they act like shortcuts in conversation. Your tongue and your lips already know the movements, so they slide into place without effort. That's why native speakers sound so smooth. It's not because they think faster, but because their mouth follows familiar patterns automatically.
And that's the goal for all learners too. Training your mouth means building these automatic movements. It's like learning a melody. At first you think about every note, but after practice, you just play it. Speaking becomes more like a natural flow.
And reading dialogues out loud is a great way to build that flow. When learners read two-person conversations, they practice switching roles, changing tone, and adjusting the rhythm. It prepares the mouth for real-life communication.
True. And dialogues also teach the natural pacing of English. Not too fast, not too slow. Learners often focus on speed, but rhythm is more important. The mouth needs time to form sounds clearly, and rhythm helps organize those movements.
Another important thing is pausing. Many learners think they must speak non-stop to sound fluent, but even native speakers pause. Pauses help the mouth reset, relax, and prepare for the next sentence. Without pausing, the mouth becomes tired quickly.
That's right, and tired muscles make pronunciation unclear. So practicing gentle, controlled pauses is part of mouth training too. It's like giving your mouth small breaks so the next sentence sounds cleaner.
And we should also mention intonation. Training your mouth isn't only about pronunciation. It's also about shaping the melody of English. When your mouth learns the rising and falling patterns, your speech becomes more natural.
Intonation really changes the meaning. A simple sentence like "you're coming today" can sound like a statement, a question, or even a surprise depending on how the mouth shapes the sound. Practicing these patterns helps learners sound alive and expressive in English.
Yes, and one easy exercise is to take a simple sentence and say it with different emotions. For example, I can do it. Say it confidently, then calmly, then thoughtfully. Each version requires a slightly different movement in the mouth and a different use of air.
That's a great exercise because it trains control. The learner becomes more aware of how their mouth changes shape when expressing different feelings. This awareness makes pronunciation more accurate.
And one more thing learners should remember is patience. Mouth training takes time. You don't build new muscle habits overnight. But every session, even a short one, builds strength and memory.
Yes, and every learner will experience a moment when something suddenly becomes easier. Maybe a sound they struggled with becomes natural. That moment is the result of consistent mouth training, even if they didn't feel progress every day.
And those moments are very motivating because they show you that your practice is actually changing the way your mouth works. It's physical progress, just like going to the gym. You don't see the change immediately, but suddenly something clicks, and you realize your muscles have adapted.
And that's why learners should keep repeating the sounds they struggle with. Even if it feels slow in the beginning, the mouth eventually learns the movement. The key is gentle, repeated practice, not forcing it, but guiding it.
And it helps to focus on one skill at a time. For example, spend a few days training your TH sounds, then switch to linking words, then maybe practice long vowel sounds. If you try to fix everything at once, it can feel overwhelming for your mouth.
Yes, focusing on one area gives your muscles time to develop properly. It's similar to training one part of your body before moving to another. And when you return to a sound after some time, you'll often notice improvement because your mouth is more flexible and ready.
And learners shouldn't forget the power of slow practice. When you speak slowly and clearly, you give your mouth time to shape each sound correctly. Once the movement becomes natural, then you can increase speed.
That strategy works extremely well for tricky consonants. If someone has trouble with R or L, slowing down the movement helps them feel the shape of the sound. When the shape is right, the speed can follow.
Another thing is practicing with intention. Don't just repeat randomly. Pay attention to how your mouth feels. Notice where your tongue is. Ask yourself if your lips are rounding enough or opening enough. This awareness makes your practice much more effective.
Yes, mindful practice creates real improvement. And it also helps reduce mistakes caused by old habits. Many learners carry pronunciation habits from their first language, and training the mouth means slowly replacing those habits with new ones.
And the good news is that once the new habit becomes strong, it stays. Your mouth remembers it automatically. That's why many learners suddenly realize they're pronouncing something correctly without thinking.
Another helpful thing is to use simple drills. For example, repeating short phrases that start or end with the same sound. Think this through. Those three things. Very, very valuable. These drills train the mouth to move smoothly through similar sounds.
And learners can create their own drills too. They can pick sounds they want to improve and build sentences around them. That way, the mouth gets used to forming the sound in real speech, not just isolated words.
And it's important to remember that mouth training doesn't need to be perfect. Even small improvements make your speech clearer. And clarity is always more important than sounding native.
Yes, because clear English is confident English. When your mouth moves comfortably and your sounds are clear, people understand you easily. And that confidence encourages you to speak even more, which trains your mouth even further.
And confidence grows faster when learners stop worrying about making mistakes. Mistakes are part of mouth training. Every time your tongue slips or a sound comes out wrong, it's simply feedback. Your mouth is learning what works and what doesn't.
Yes, and the more relaxed you are, the better your mouth performs. Tension blocks movement. When you stay calm and let your mouth move freely, your pronunciation becomes smoother. This is why breathing exercises can help, especially before speaking.
A simple breathing exercise is to inhale slowly through the nose, then speak a short, clear sentence on the exhale. It trains both air control and relaxation. When your mouth works with your breath, speaking feels more natural.
Learners can also warm up their mouths before practicing English. Just like warming up before exercise, warming up the mouth prepares the muscles. Simple movements like opening the mouth wide, stretching the lips, or moving the tongue in circles help a lot.
Jaw relaxation is also important. Some learners keep their jaw tight because they're trying too hard to get every sound right. But a relaxed jaw allows smoother, clearer pronunciation. Even small stretches help ease that tension.
Another useful technique is isolating sounds. For example, if someone struggles with sh, they can practice it by itself first, then in syllables like sha, she, show, and then in words. Step by step, the mouth becomes comfortable forming the sound.
And after isolating those sounds, combining them with sentences builds real fluency. For instance, she shops on Shore Street is a great sentence to train the sh sound. It teaches rhythm and clarity at the same time.
And learners should remember that mouth training doesn't need to be loud. Even speaking softly can help improve pronunciation. It's about accuracy and control, not volume.
Yes, whisper practice can actually make the mouth more precise because you have to rely on shape, not loudness. It's a great exercise when you don't want to disturb anyone.
Another helpful habit is to notice how native speakers move their mouths. Watching videos of people speaking English can reveal patterns you never heard before. Once you see how a sound is formed, you can try copying it.
And slow-motion videos are even more useful. Many language teachers post slow pronunciation clips where you can clearly see tongue placement and lip movement. Learners can follow those movements and train their own mouth to match.
And once the mouth gets used to these movements, speaking becomes smoother and more enjoyable. The learner stops fighting the sounds and starts flowing with them.
And that flow is what we want. It's the point where the mouth moves naturally, the sounds come out easily, and English starts to feel like a comfortable part of your daily communication.
And once English starts feeling more comfortable, learners often realize that speaking becomes less about memorizing rules and more about letting their mouth do what it has practiced. Their brain thinks the idea, and the mouth follows automatically because the movements are already trained.
Yes, and that automatic movement is a big breakthrough. It's when speaking stops feeling like a school task and starts feeling like a natural skill. The muscles finally understand how to work together. It's the result of all the small exercises, reading aloud, shadowing, repeating sounds, practicing sentences slowly, and building rhythm.
And rhythm itself is such an essential part of mouth training. Many learners overlook it, but English rhythm helps guide the movement of the mouth. When you feel the natural beat of the sentence, your mouth knows when to open, when to relax, when to stretch a vowel, and when to finish a word clearly.
For example, the sentence "I didn't mean to interrupt you" has a natural bounce. If the learner follows the rhythm, the mouth will move smoothly through the sounds. Without rhythm, every word feels separate and harder to say.
And practicing these rhythmic sentences helps learners understand how English flows in real conversations. It trains the mouth to move with the melody rather than fighting against it.
Another thing is energy. English uses a different kind of energy in the mouth compared to many other languages. Some sounds require strong air, some need softer air, some need tight lips, some need open lips. Learning to adjust your energy helps you speak more clearly.
And that's why switching between sounds like PBF and V can be great training. Each one uses a different amount of air and a different lip shape. Practicing them back and forth builds control and strength.
Learners can even try sequences like pa, ba, fa, v and repeat them until the mouth feels more flexible. This kind of drill helps the lips understand the difference between strong air and soft air.
And tongue control is another key skill. English uses many tongue tip positions, especially in sounds like TD, NL, and R. Practicing the tongue moving from one position to another builds agility.
A good drill for that is repeating tar, law, raw, nor in a loop. It forces the tongue to change shape quickly and accurately. At first it might feel awkward, but after a few days, the mouth becomes noticeably more flexible.
And learners should not forget the importance of articulation. Over-articulating words during practice helps the mouth understand the exact shape of each sound. It's like drawing the outline of a picture with thick lines before making it lighter.
Yes, because when you speak normally, you won't exaggerate the sounds, but the mouth will remember the shape. That memory is what makes your pronunciation clear even when you speak naturally at your normal speed.
And once learners build that muscle memory, speaking becomes smoother and more confident. The mouth doesn't have to guess anymore. It knows the movement, it knows the rhythm, and it knows the shape of the sounds. That's when English starts to feel natural instead of stressful.
Exactly. And we want listeners to remember that training your mouth isn't about perfection. It's about comfort, clarity, and confidence. If your mouth feels relaxed and capable, your English will sound better automatically. Small steps add up, and every practice session builds a stronger foundation.
And if you stay patient, stay consistent, and give your mouth time to learn, you'll notice real improvement. Speaking English won't feel heavy. It will feel more like a flow that your mouth knows how to follow.
This has been a great conversation, and we hope today's discussion helps you understand how powerful mouth training can be for your fluency.
Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon on the British Accent Podcast.
Articulation, meaning the clear and precise movement of the mouth, lips, and tongue to produce speech sounds. Good articulation helps listeners understand every word you say. Actors practice articulation exercises before performing on stage. Intonation, meaning the rise and fall of the voice when speaking, the melody of a sentence. Your intonation can change a simple sentence into a question. English sounds more natural when you control your intonation. Agility, meaning the ability to move quickly and easily. In speaking, the ability of the mouth and tongue to change positions smoothly. Tongue twisters help build agility in pronunciation. Language learners need agility to shift between different sounds. Rhythm, meaning the natural beat or pattern of stressed and unstressed sounds in speech. English rhythm is different from many other languages. Practicing rhythm helps learners speak more fluently. Consistency, meaning doing something regularly and without stopping. Steady practice. Consistency is more important than long study sessions. Even 5 minutes of consistent practice every day can improve your fluency. Repetition, meaning doing or saying something again and again to improve or learn. Repetition helps your mouth remember new sound patterns. Pronunciation improves with repetition, not speed. Isolate, meaning to separate something from others. In pronunciation, to practice a single sound alone. If a sound is difficult, isolate it before practicing full words. The teacher asks students to isolate the sh sound before saying sentences. Flexible, meaning able to bend, move, or adjust easily. In speaking, how easily the mouth muscles can change shape. The more you practice, the more flexible your tongue becomes. A flexible mouth makes fast speech much easier. Awareness. Meaning, knowing and noticing something, paying attention to how sounds and movements feel. Awareness of your tongue position helps correct pronunciation mistakes. Recording yourself increases your awareness of your speaking habits. Overwhelm. Meaning, to feel stressed or overloaded by too many things at once. Trying to fix every pronunciation mistake at once can overwhelm learners. Focus on one skill at a time so you don't feel overwhelmed.